Hey everyone, this is Alan Schimmel from TechStrong TV, and we are here at Black Hat on the show floor. We were lucky enough with our media passes to sneak in early before the floor gets too crazy. And I stopped over here at our friend's booth, the Frogs, JFrog, to check in on them and what's happening here at Black Hat on the JFrog front. And I've got my friend Paul Davis, who's field CISO at JFrog. If you've watched TechStrong TV, Paul's been a frequent guest. Hey, Paul, welcome back to TechStrong TV.
Thank you. Glad to be here and glad to be back in Vegas at Black Hat.
So we came to the swamp, or the Black Hat swamp.
Yes, it is green around here. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
There's the frog. So, Paul, a lot of my audience out here is saying, gee, we know JFrog. They're a DevOps company.
Yeah. Yep.
They're a DevSecOps company.
Yep.
But are they a Black Hat security company?
So, yes, they are. Right. This is one of the interesting things. If you imagine today's world, you can't push anything, product, software out into production unless you're dealing with security. And security has many different aspects. Yes, you've got the CVEs, you've got the vulnerabilities, but you've also got the compliance, the regulations, and also making sure you've got trusted software out there in production. So to do that, that's a security thing. And security leaders, that's what we worry about, you know?
Sure.
Because if we can't say, yes, it's good, that's what wakes us up at 3 o'clock in the morning when we get the phone call saying something's happened to our software. So it's a bit of a nightmare, that one.
Absolutely. You know, Paul, obviously the theme, and no surprise, the theme of this year's Black Hat is AI.
Oh, yeah.
There's AI this, there's AI that.
Yes.
Here in AI, there in AI, everywhere in AI.
Yep.
I heard Caleb Seema talk yesterday in a session from Cloud Security Alliance,
Yep.
and he talked about AI washing.
AI washing. Okay.
Yeah, just slapping AI on.
Yeah.
You know, whitewashing everything with AI.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes.
About how JFrog views AI, ML, ops as well, how this is all coming together in terms of the frogs.
So machine learning, AI, generative AI, it's as you said, it's almost like you can't have a real product in today's world unless you've got an AI tag somewhere in there. Every brochure, everything happens. The problem is that it's accelerated so fast that we're losing control. And what we've discovered is that many of our customers have multitude of AI and ML projects going on, but they haven't got the control. So the first thing is that, interesting enough, when we talk like the attack surface around AI and machine learning, there's two sides to it. There's the development side, and then there's once it's running in production. From that perspective, you really want to have a strong foundation. So we started last year. First of all, we discovered that they are actually attacking the data scientists. They're attacking the data scientists, going after them. So if you download like a model, you'll actually try and compromise your endpoint, your workstation. Right? They will also do all sorts of tricks. And especially with MPC, with this new technique, we've recently just published some research saying, hey, look, if this actually can execute code and infect your system. So that's a new attack surface. And we've always worried about, hey, let's put endpoint protection on the workstation. Let's do security. But we didn't think about data scientists, data engineers. And there's a whole new world around that. And so really what we're seeing is companies saying, we've lost control of ML. We need to start putting control points in place. We need a central place to do storing the MLs. We need to do deep scanning because many organizations, I was watching a Gartner presentation yesterday, 80% of companies are now investigating how they're going to scan their ML models for malicious code. That's either stuff they brought in from the outside world or stuff that's been introduced accidentally.
You know, Paul, one of the problems, though, is that things seem to be moving so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So fast.
Oh, yeah.
And it's full speed ahead, damn the torpedoes, right? And so we look at something like you mentioned MPC.
Yeah.
MPC was like invented in January, basically.
Yeah.
Here we are in August.
Yep.
It's already the de facto standard.
Yep.
Everybody's coming out with an MPC server, and no one is stepping back and saying, what about the security?
Yes.
And you know, unfortunately, as someone who's been in security for 30 plus years, this is a familiar pattern.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
We're always the afterthought.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, security. And so I worry. I worry a lot about that. You know, Gartner's saying 80%. I'll be honest with you, these days, I don't know how much I believe Gartner. Maybe we should fire their head statistics keeper.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
do you really think 80% of companies are scanning their ML?
They're not. They want to. They're planning.
Oh, they're planning.
Oh, yeah,
to.
yeah. So the actual reality, we just published the State of the Union report a couple of months ago. And like, I think it's like over 70% of the executives think that we're using AI with scanning. Developers is just a little bit over 50. So they disconnect that. Now, what's interesting is that some people are realizing, especially with regulatory compliance, EU with its AI laws, they're the tough cookie. They're the people who have teeth. Over here, we're slowly getting there. But around the rest of the world, we're starting to. So the regulatory pressures are starting to push down the executives. And guess who they look at? The security leaders.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you going to handle this risk? And it's like, well, what do you mean? Well, you responsible for our IT security. I mean,
you don't think you're getting more budget.
No, more with less, you know. But the thing is that what is interesting is they are now bringing in the CISO for those conversations. And I'm increasingly having conversations with CISOs about how do I get control of this? How do I start streamlining? And the interesting thing is that the life cycle around building ML kind of aligns with what DevOps, because at some point you take that model and it's got to be integrated. And one of the most frustrating things I find is I go and talk to somebody and says, well, what about your open source? Well, we don't deal open source. We just have libraries.
Of course you do.
Yes. They use open source for cleansing the data. They use open source for...
Well, no, their applications are built on open source components.
Exactly. So there's almost this denial in education going on where we have to tell them that.
It's ignorant.
But basically what you've got to have is now control points to make sure you're actually understanding what's ending up in production. Yeah. And that's what's really scaring me is this thing of ML models are just being integrated in. And it's being integrated in all these applications you build, applications you buy. How do you get control of that? That's what's really scaring me nowadays.
I will tell you, it is scary. There's two things here. It's the velocity and the volume.
Yes.
2 V's.
Oh, yeah.
And as counterintuitive as it may sound, I think the only way security folk can get their arms wrapped around this, get their heads wrapped around it, is to use ML and AI themselves to combat the issue. Yeah. So you got to, in essence, fight fire with fire.
Yep.
Let's talk about what JFrog's doing around that.
So what's interesting, we actually just released a beta of an MPC.
Really?
Yes. Which works with JFrog. But it's really clever because you can ask it questions saying, hey, what vulnerable package do I exist? Etc. For vulnerability management, since we have a thing called catalog. It is like the gold mine of vulnerability data around open source and LLMs. And you can go in there, and I've got some companies are saying this is our default path. Before we do when we do a triage, we're going to look at that. So we have, first of all, we have bought a company called Quack, and we've turned that into Frog ML.
Yes.
And that is basically how do I get a consistent building path for how I actually build out my ML models. Whether it's the data, whether it's building up the feature stores, whether it's the experiments, whether it's actually rolling it out in production, we've made that whole journey. So JFrog's very much focused on the process of building a secure foundation. Because if you've got a secure foundation, then when you're having to monitor it in production, it's got less attack surface, it's got less vulnerabilities, and you can get proactive on that. So from the AI perspective, we got Catalog, we have Frog ML, we have our advanced security, we have the ability to store ML models centrally. And that means we can get access. We can generate audit logs.
Really?
Yes. We can show who is downloading or trying to use that AI.
So you're fighting fire with fire.
Well, I wouldn't say fire. We're like the Pepto-Bismol. So the calming was terrible analogy. But it's really trying to put the fire down so it's manageable, so it's less painful. You don't get burned from it because, as I say, the more visibility we have into the process of how something ends up in production, the better.
Yep. I want to bring up another subject with you. A lot of stuff going on around platform engineering.
Yes.
DevOps and platform engineering working together for the internal developer platforms. And, the developer becomes the customer, if you will, of the product. How does that play into all of this ML ops and the base JFrog offering, actually?
So it is all about streamlining. Most executives want to streamline, want to simplify the process without compromising their security. The problem is that at the moment, because everyone has their all favorite tools, they can't streamline it.
Yeah.
But we can't be all things to all people. So the platform play, from the perspective of a DevOps platform, from design all the way into production, we support that. And we have also the ability to actually use evidence files as gates to prevent something into production if it hasn't passed the test, which I think is sexy, right? But from the point of view of the developer and enabling them, that's a big thing for us. Shift left, we've been doing shift left and focusing for years. The thing for me is I want to turn developers into security warriors. I want to give them the information at their fingertips. So you say, hey, this is really a problem. It's like we really need to have traceability. We need to have, is this really a real threat to your software? This terrible saying I have, I use it multiple times, one bad function doesn't make a bad package. So not calling the bad function, I don't need to worry about it. I don't want to tell the developer, hey, you got a problem because you're using a bad package, but I'm not calling the bad function. Why are you bugging the hell out of me? I just want to write code.
Yeah.
And you talk about, interesting enough, the impact of this across the whole organization. When a developer makes a mistake, it includes a bug or a secret or whatever, that ripple effect goes to the AppSec team. The AppSec team, they might miss it or they might get through. Then it goes through to IT ops and then SecOps. So you have all these IT ops, biz ops. So we actually call it every ops. I've got to grips with it now, every ops, because the impact of making a mistake at the beginning ripples through. You double the cost of deploying. Somebody deploys a bug.
Double? No, I think it's more than double. Yeah. It's exponentially.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So if I can fix it earlier, just like the kill chain, the sooner I can fix it, the cheaper it is. And as I said, the fact that in the AI world that CISO's teams are being brought in on the design, I still worry about data. I don't think we've got data governance under control yet. No. But as far as the actual binaries, the open source, that sort of stuff, I think that's sexy.
Excellent. Just about a month out from now,
yes,
we will be in Napa at the Swampo.
Oh, yes.
Excited for that. We'll be there actually filming live.
Wow, brilliant.
Yeah, so we'll be there. I'll probably see you there and we'll talk some more.
Oh, yeah, I'm actually doing a training course there.
Very cool.
Okay, so they've got me recorded like as Morpheus from the Matrix. Oh, yeah, you got right, because I've got a training course about compliance and showing how you can automate. Easiest way of doing security is automate. But yeah, it's a great event. I went there last year for the first time. It's really like the old-fashioned security communities where you actually get a chance to sit down and talk.
Yeah.
You actually, it's not just...
No, I've been going to Swamp Ups for years. It's
amazing
a great community event.
Yeah. So you build long-lasting connections there. So
no doubt about it.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
So that starts, I want to say it starts the 8th, September. Yes. No, it's 9th and 10th.
Yeah, yep. Well, you're testing me now.
We'll be there the 9th and 10th filming.
Yep.
Paul, thank you so much for giving us a peek into JFrog here at Black Hat. Enjoy the rest of Black Hat.
Thank you so much.
All righty.
Okay.
Paul Davis, Field CISO for JFrog here at Black Hat. We're going to continue our coverage on the show floor, so stay tuned. For now, though, that's it. We're out. We'll be back.